Good evening. I'd like to call to order the November 26th meeting of the Culver Unsafe Building Board. This meeting is being recorded. Your participation is your consent to be rebroadcast on the town's YouTube channel. Will you join me, please, for the pledge of allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
William Clevenger,
Present.
Jenny Monroe.
Here.
Sally Ricciardi.
Here.
Okay, Dana here and Bill Clevenger, or Bill Gibbons are absent.
Okay. I'd like to open the public hearing, please. I have 5 minutes after 5. Motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
It's been moved by Ms. Monroe. Second by Ms. Ricciardi. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Next on the agenda is 24 PUB 001 Cooper, 205 Akron Street, Culver, Indiana. I have a motion to open a public hearing, please.
Did we technically open it
I
already?
think he just did.
We already opened it, okay. Mr. Gorski, raise your right hand, please. You solemnly swear that the testimony about the truth, whole truth, will help you?
I do.
I do, thank you. Mr. and Mrs. Cooper, please raise your right hands. You swear that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you?
Yes.
Thank you.
Would you like me to start?
Yeah, go ahead.
This is in regards to the property at 205 Akron Street, Culver, Indiana, 46511. I, Steve Gorski, as the enforcement authority under the town's unsafe building ordinance, issued an order stating, among other things, to demolish the home at 215 Akron Street, Culver, Indiana. The order was sent certified mail November 12th, 2024. The premise located at 205 Akron Street is the subject of a properly served enforcement authority order for demolition. As of November 26, 2024, no efforts have been made to clear the lot of debris, vegetation, and the house has not been demolished as ordered. You'll be seeing some picture evidence presented of the premises, unsafe conditions, including the need for roof replacement or repairs. Before I go on, some of that's up there. What hard copy? I've got some here. Okay, next, the need for repair for fascia and soffits around the house, the need to repair broken windows, the need to repair or replace the front porch and steps, the need to clear vegetation on and adjacent to the house, the need to replace and cover exposed OSB siding on the house that is deteriorated, the need to abate the mold, mildew, and algae growing on the house, the need to repair or remove the small structure protruding on the south side of the house, the need to repair or remove the outbuilding on the property that is deteriorated, and the need to repair or remove the block retaining wall around the west and south sides of the property along the sidewalk, which has deteriorated, causing public safety concerns. The structure itself is deteriorated. It's been deteriorating for years. There's been little to no maintenance on the house. I have some other information I'll present also. A little history going back on the house. Starting in 2021. I've dug up some, I'm sure not all, but some of the history starts at 2021, 06/15. Culver Plan Commission meeting minutes. Complaints made about this property, including the house not being maintained, odor, yard, retaining wall collapsing. Town manager asked town utilities to mow property and establish a lien. Member of public stated house is eyesore since 2007. In 2022, 03/30, enforcement order to make repairs to the house, clean up debris and remove fire hazards inside the building. 2023, 10/10, letter from building commissioner to owner about safety concerns on this property. 2023, 11/29, notice of violation letter. This was to inform property was in violation and not safe. 2023, 12/11, property owner made some repairs. These repairs did not keep up with the dilapidated building. 2024, 09/11, notice of violation, letter for unsafe structure. 2024, 09/30, building commissioner gave partial list of repairs needed with an example plan for corrective measure. There was no response to this. 2024, 11/12, enforcement demolition order sent via certified mail. So the house is in rough condition. Some of you may be familiar with the structure as it is right now. I have some more things I'd like to present, but before I go any further, does any of the board have any questions for me?
On the earlier notifications in September, Steve, were those also certified mail?
The notices of violations.
Like the
yes.
plan for repairs, et cetera? Okay.
So the plan for repairs, I discussed with Mr. Cooper personally.
Okay.
So just another couple of notes. The house is right now, it's not habitable. So it can't be lived in at this time. So also regarding the new comprehensive plan, that by an overwhelming margin, the people who participated in developing the 2024 plan said that a top priority in developing quality of place was to clean up blighted properties. That got most of the votes of anything in the surveys. The people want to see stuff like this moved on. I want to know that about our comprehensive plan. And I have one more thing to present also to the board. And this is a legal case. It was Culver versus the city of South Bend. And in this case, I'm actually going to start a little further down in it. And I'm just going to read part of what this case was. And this says, in part, we agree that where a building can be reasonably repaired, it may be improper to order demolition of the property. However, the facts before us require further consideration. The evidence here clearly demonstrates that the Kohlers have been afforded ample opportunity to repair the property and have failed to do so on many occasions over several years. In light of these facts, we conclude that the fact that the property can be repaired is not the dispositive consideration in reviewing the city's demolition order. An equally important consideration is whether the building will be repaired. Moreover, we agree that theoretically any building can be repaired. The more relevant question in a case such as this is whether the option of repair will be effectively correct the condition considered to be a danger to the public. When the city has little confidence that the repairs will be made, demolition may be a reasonable alternative. Given the extensive history of disrepair of this property, we conclude that demolition was a reasonable option, even in the light of the possibility of repair. So this was an appeals case in the Court of Appeals of Indiana in the 5th District. It was from June 1998. And it was number 71A05-9703-CV-108. The disposition was affirmed. Case summary. Procedural posture. Appellates. Owners and property manager challenged an order of the St. Joe Circuit Court, Indiana, which affirmed an order of appeal city to demolish a house belonging to the owners. Overview. The city served the owners with an order requiring demolition of the property after having served the owners with several orders to repair various problems with the property, including building code violations. The hearing officer affirmed the city's order, and the trial court affirmed. The owners appealed, challenging the standard of review used by the trial court, contesting whether the evidence supported the finding that the demolition order was reasonable. The court affirmed, holding that the trial court correctly applied the de novo standard of review for the appeal from the demolition order pursuant to Indiana Code 36798. The court found that the trial court's decision to uphold the city's demolition order was not arbitrary, capricious, and an abuse of discretion unsupported by the evidence or in excess of statutory authority, given the trial court's findings that the property had been in violation of the city's building codes for approximately 10 years. That despite multiple opportunities to repair the property was still in disrepair. That the property would require major reconstruction at the building was unsafe. Outcome, court affirmed the judgment affirming the city's order to demolish a house that belongs to the owners. So this also says that although a house or any structure or anything can be or may be restored or repaired, it's will it be and what is the cost and how long will it take? In this case, they found that it wasn't reasonable and wouldn't happen. And I don't believe that it's going to happen in this case.
Anything else, Steve?
I don't.
That's a Cooper.
This is my daughter. It's his daughter.
Oh, I'm sorry. Bob, do you have something?
Yeah, I don't know what this 2007 thing is. In 2012, I took all of the sliding glass doors off of the house. That's where the OSB is. I reframed, I put in new windows, I put in new door, and I didn't put the siding. As far as the algae on the north side of the house, drive around and look at the north side of every house. 7 out of 10 have algae on. It's just a common thing on the north side of the house. I'll get it cleaned off. I mean, I have, as far as the rest of this saying that I haven't done anything, that's not true. Steve, I replied to your email on September 30th with a date, and you sent me another list. And this is the response to the second list. As far as the stuff last year that you were talking about, I did everything you told me to do. I took the stairs off of the north side of the deck. I filled in the rail. I did everything that he asked me to do. I mean, to say this has been going on since 2007 is just not true. You know, and as far as this has all come, I got all of this stuff, 5 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago. And to say that I'm not going to do it is just not true. You guys know me.
When did you take possession of the house? Or get possession?
Well, after mom died, I've been the executor, so I've been the one taking care of it. Since then, I pay the taxes, the utility, NIPSCO, the heat's on, the electric's on, the water I had turned off. I mean, to say it's not habitable is a stretch. Because if I get the water back on, there's no reason you couldn't live in the house. I mean, this stuff is,
Is this
this
the
stuff is
same
all
house on
cosmetic.
Akron that Chuck DeWitt had you do work on?
No,
That's the one across the street?
that was the one that's been torn down.
Just to comment on the water, the water line is broke going into the house, so the water can't be turned on until it's the pipes, the lines are dug up and repaired. Second of the water department, and speaking with Mr. Cooper, that's been 3 or 4 years that's been broken, so without water, the house can't be habitable.
How long has it been?
The issue with that is, when they turned the valve, water came up out of the valve box. And they shut it back off and said, it's gotta be on your side. The valve box is in the street. And they're saying that I'm responsible from the valve box in. And the way it always was before, you're responsible from the property line in. The valve box is under the road. And I'm guessing at some point, since it's been turned off, it's froze. So they don't know if the valve is broke. They don't know if the line beside the valve is broke.
So has this house been uninhabitable since the passing of your family members, or
It's never been uninhabitable.
it's been empty though? How long has it been empty
Um,
with no one living in there?
since my brother was staying in it in 2015, I think.
So it looks like it's abandoned. Is what
Right.
it ends up looking like,
Right.
and it's been neglected. And that's the problem, is then the neighbors get upset because they feel like it devalues their property or their property value in the neighborhood, and they don't want to look at it. And I get that. It's unattractive. So was there an intent to make it habitable at some point, or have someone live in it? Or is it just gonna sit there and continue to deteriorate? Because I think that's the case Steve is making, is nothing's happened to it in that 9-year period since someone last lived in it, that it just looks like it's gonna continue to deteriorate and eventually rot. If there's not rot there already.
Well, I mean, there's no rot. But I mean, if I have to, I'll move into it. If that's, you guys want somebody living there, I'll move into it. I was,
I'm just.
my intention was
asking
to
a question,
hopefully
Bob, 'cause
move my daughter into it.
It's been, I know we've had letters on that property before, like I
For the
can't
grass.
find some of them,
For
yeah,
the grass.
yeah.
And
And I know there was one on a Obispo, and I thought it was Obispo in Akron, where we had a list of stuff, the one that your mom owned.
well, this is,
This is the same house, correct?
No.
No, it's,
no,
That's the one that his mom lived in. She owned
Okay.
several.
okay,
yeah, because there was 709 Obispo,
right?
808
That
Obispo.
was the sold torn down one, was 709.
Yeah, that one was torn down. That's the one that we went through the court hearings. And, you know, somebody broke the windows out of mom's house. I have pretty good idea who did it. But the windows that were broke out are behind cabinets, so I just covered the windows. But he's saying that I have to have glass. So I'll put glass back in, but in that court hearing for 709 Obispo, the judge specifically stated the windows have to be covered, they don't have to be glass. He said that. You can go back in the court records and look at the judgment.
But if I may, even in the picture, the house definitely has rotten wood exposed on it. I mean, it's quite evident in the pictures, and when you go by the house, it's evident. You can look up around the roof line, even in the pictures, around the fascia, around the.
And that's what
The roof's rotten, the OSB siding on the house is rotten. I mean, it's deteriorating.
So since the demo order, has there been any work done to try to stop the demo order, or?
I've got the roof permit. I bought the materials for it. I've been trying to find siding to match the siding that's on there. I'm not having any luck. But as far as the thing on the south side that he's talking about, that's actually an outside entrance to the basement. It's an old wood door with a piece of plywood. And it's an odd sized door. So I've been trying to find a door. I'm probably gonna have to make.
So that little structure on the back is
It's
covering a
basement
door.
entrance.
Okay. It does
Yeah,
look like an
the
odd sort of structure.
Yeah, there's stairs. You open the door, you go down the stairs into the basement.
Like an old cellar basement.
But what's deteriorating is the door itself. And it's got plywood. So, I'll find a door. If I have to make one, I'll make one. But
Steve, would you mind going back through something?
Sure.
And that is, I only have 6, I guess. Starting in 2021, when you go through what the first complaint was and so forth, you don't have to read the complaint, but just the chronology of events.
Let me see if I can get that. I got
Are you two here to speak on this case as well? Okay. Next meeting.
Yep. So starting when?
2021.
2021.
So starting in 2021, you want me to read all of them?
No, just a general summation of what 2021 said.
2021-06-15 was Culver Plan Commission meeting. From their minutes, complaints were made about the property at that time.
Okay,
2022-03-30, an enforcement order was made for repairs to the house, clean up debris, etc. Fire hazards inside the house. 2020, that's 22-03-30, I'm sorry. 2023-10-10, letter from building commissioner, safety concerns.
Okay.
2023-11-29, a notice of violation. Property was not safe.
okay,
2023-12-11. Property owners made some repairs, but the repairs did not keep up with the dilapidated building. 2024-09-11. Notice of violation unsafe. 2024-09-30. Gave a list of repairs needed, partial list of repairs needed with an example plan for corrective measures. And 2024-11-12, enforcement demolition order thing.
So what got done on the corrective plan? Anything on that 2023 plan completed?
Yes. That's the one, I did everything he told me to do and sent him pictures. Did I not?
He did. He did make some improvements.
What did you say, Steve?
He did make some improvements.
on
They
the
didn't,
2023 plan. But it's still looking pretty rough.
yes,
And there's a new set of to-dos, and those haven't been done yet, right?
right.
Bob, you have anything else?
I mean, I guess my thing is, if this has all been brought at me in the last 5 weeks, and I was given no chance to do anything and got the demolition order. I mean, the house, the weather is not getting in the house. That to say all this rotting wood is, those boards that are up there that he has pictures of, those were put up there to fasten a gutter to. And they didn't use treated board. And it was plastic gutters. First winter, they froze and broke and fell off, and those boards are rotten. The soffits are all open wrapper tail soffits. So there's no soffits to be rotten. The part that he shows on the back of the house, that's being changed. I'm tearing that whole roof off and redoing it. New sheeting, new subfascia, and I already have the materials. What?
When do you plan to do that?
Well, I told him I would have it done before the end of the year. I hope to have it done in the next week, but I mean, it's weather permitting. And as far as the siding stuff, I mean, I sat down and went through this list with Steve, and we came up with this list and of dates. And then when I talked to him yesterday, he made me feel like I wasted my time.
Have those dates passed
No,
that you guys came up with?
On those windows, let me ask you, that are broken, do you intend to keep them as windows or close them up?
well, I mean, at this point, the easiest fix is just put glass back in. And
I mean, you said that there were cabinets on the other side of it.
right. Yeah, the kitchen cabinets are on the inside,
Yeah,
the bottom half of the cabinets. And I mean, I'll just put glass back in.
Okay, so Bob, you have some December 31 dates on here and some March dates on here. I'm gonna suggest that we meet again right after December 31. And if you haven't hit the items you've listed for December 31, we move forward with the demo. And if you hit those, then we go to the March, and then we meet again right after your March date. Because you've made some commitments, which I appreciate, for a lot of work here, and I get weather permit, et cetera, except that this is a good solid 6 months that you would have to get a lot of things back in order, which I think is a reasonable amount of time. But I would want to go date by date, because I'm kind of leaning towards Steve in that I lack the confidence, mainly because I feel like we've been here before with other property. But I'm also sympathetic to your situation and the fact that you are managing multiple properties and, have a work life, family life, et cetera. I get it. So I'm willing to go to the December 31 deadline. And if you're not hitting your deadlines, then we, at any given time, move forward with the demo. But if we see a new roof goes on by the 31st and broken windows are repaired or replaced by the 31st, and you start making real progress where we can actually see that this is going to become a viable, livable potential house, I'm fine with it, but not fine with months elapsing with nothing happening. Does that work for you?
Yeah.
Does that work for you?
The only other request I have is I would like to have an actual building inspector look at it with I mean, I don't know what kind of construction background Steve has, but I feel like somebody with a construction background.
Well, at some point, Steve could ask the county inspector to come in because they
So I could,
technically
I'd like to
do.
respond to that. I have a pretty significant construction background, actually. And I am by ordinance allowed to do inspections. I'd be more than happy to have Chuck Garman, the county building inspector, come down and perform any inspections you'd like. I would like to add one more thing that absolutely for a house to be habitable, it has to have water in it and have the water, some kind of date set to get the water repaired and have that water in the house. Whatever this board thinks is reasonable on that. It's an expense. I understand that, but it's something that has to be done to have a house habitable.
I would agree.
The second, if I may, the other thing that I noted that wasn't on the list was the wall. And Mr. Gorski brought up the outer wall and it's damaged and creates a public hazard. It's not addressed on the list. I'm just bringing attention to that was there.
At the sidewalk.
On the corner.
And that goes back to our conversation. He told me to concentrate on the house, don't worry about the wall for now.
He's got the block wall.
My apologies. I didn't.
So-
My bad.
Yeah.
The only one.
And it's on-
Yeah. no,
And he's got this on the spring when it's gonna be more appropriate weather.
If
will
you
perfectly
were
fine.
a lot of these by March 31, then the water could be put in because you'd have the insulation, new roof, lack of a pipe bursting
The
potential.
house is insulated now. It's heated. I mean,
Can you hit water hookup by the end of May? The same time you're finishing up the other stuff on here?
yeah, I'm probably gonna do it before then. I mean, if they're telling me that it's my problem, which I wholly disagree with. I've already made a call to have a guy bring a vector in and pothole it so I can find out that this thing is this far from my house and it's in the road. And as soon as they turned the valve,
The
it came up.
I was gonna say that the pipe from your house to that hookup is the responsibility of the homeowner. Isn't that how our ordinance reads?
That's how the ordinance reads.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, and that may have been changed since you
It-
last. knew
yeah,
of it.
because the sewer line was always responsible from the tap in, but the water lines used to be from the property.
I
So
believe
that if
it's
there
to
were
the
shut-offs in
hookup.
the street,
I agree. I think it is. The way it reads is from the valve.
Okay, so that can be on the list as well, but we would want to schedule the first meeting in January, our first council meeting, to look at your December 31 stuff. Because I think that would be the next time we'd have an unsafe building, right? If we schedule it for whatever the first council meeting in January would be, we'd be looking at whether you got these December dates done.
Sally, your thoughts?
I'm pretty much in agreement with Jenny.
And, please understand, Steve's doing his job and he's right. We've had so many people want us to prioritize cleaning up light and making sure that, their neighborhood isn't affected or whatever. And that's the thing we get the most complaints about. Yeah, if someone's gonna come up to town hall and complain, it's about that or their trash not getting picked up.
speaking of trash, any chance I can get a trash can down there? I've asked multiple times. I haven't had a trash can down there for 2 years, but I have to pay it every month.
Company, it's, I
I've called them, I've come down,
was gonna say, I talked to Julie Cowell,
I've talked to her twice.
really?
Give me the exact
205
address.
Akron Street.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah.
I confirm that.
Yeah,
Sometimes we have to call them 4 or 5 times, but eventually
But-
they do it. But if
The
you've been
price
paying for
2
service and
years.
not getting a can, then I would,
I told
File on
Julie, I told Julie, if I'm not gonna get a trash can, then take the trash service off of the bill. And she understood I can't do that.
yeah, we.
Okay.
you
So
can't,
I'll take
but
that up. I'll take it up, see what.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as I'm
Like
concerned,
having to dig into it with the trash company, because
Yep.
normally if Julie persistently calls them, they'll eventually get on it.
well,
I had to call them like 7 times on your couch. When you guys had the
I'll make
couch,
that, I'll make the call and get back to you.
and they just weren't picking up that couch and weren't picking up
Believe
that
me, I
couch.
called so many times.
Oh, it was ridiculous. And I knew, I was like, I'm sure, I figured Glennie was calling on top of it, so.
Well, I'm in agreement with both Jenny and Sally. What bothers me, Bob, is that this property is had at least 8, possibly 9 actions taken against the property, and here we are up against, well, I mean,
it hasn't.
but I don't want to go through this because we've got another hearing here that we can hear of.
But my point to that, my response to that, Bill, is them discussing it at a plan commission meeting is not an action on me.
Well,
I
okay,
didn't
so
know
I'll
anything
take,
about that
I'll
until
move
tonight.
that, but I have a motion from the board then that we state a motion that we, how do you want to state it, Jimmy?
Well, I'll motion that we start the demo at this point in time, but readdress it in January. And if the property owner, Mr. Cooper, hasn't addressed the December 31 deadlines that he's given Steve and committed to, then we would move forward with the demo. Show some progress, a lot of progress between now and then. And don't hesitate to communicate with Steve about what you're doing and continue to send pictures and so on.
You have that turn. Good. Now second.
I'll second.
Been seconded, been moved by Ms. Monroe that we take a look at this again in
First meeting of
First
the year
meeting
in
in,
January.
December, and I won't repeat the whole motion, but all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 And Bill, I know I came in late for the meeting. I think I know enough about it. I can go.
Jenny, let's have to close the public hearing first.
What's the
You can
question?
take action during it, but I suppose you should close the public hearing.
Go ahead and close it.
Yeah, I'll motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Move the motion to close the public hearing by Ms. Monroe, second by Mr. Shardy. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. And I will amend my previous motion to make it post the public hearing closing and stick with the same motion.
So.
And
just-
technically being accurate. Or taking action after the public hearing. So let me make the same motion I made during the public hearing. Move forward with the vote.
Second, that's Sally.
I'll second the motion.
All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those same sign.
Thank you.
Okay. We've got other business.
Yeah, just one other note, just an update. Send a notice violation to the movie theater people.
Call will be
I've
recorded.
I've had a very positive response from several individuals around that. Ice Miller attorneys are representing that also. As well as, I forgot the name of the group. I'm sorry, I don't have that note with me. Nonprofit organization that's going to work on that when it clears its
As it's still in
state,
probate.
it's in probate.
Yeah.
They feel it's gonna move forward here and they think earlier in 2025. So they've done some sealing of the building. So I'm staying in touch with them as they move forward on that. And if they drop the ball, we'll continue moving forward with that one.
Any update on that?
I'm also Been in touch with a couple other property owners regarding some garages here in town that I'll be addressing as well in the near future.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, Steve.
You're welcome.
Feel like a motion to adjourn the unsafe building meeting.
It's been moved by Mr. Monroe,
I'll second.
second by Mr. Riccardi. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Post same sign. Adjourn.